So in this video, we're gonna cover how I signed my first client. So in my videos, I jump straight into giving you value and telling you exactly how I did it, so either you can learn or replicate it. So I signed my first client running TikTok ads. Now I did this via instant forms, which is an easy way to submit forms and gather information from the leads that submit information so that you can have it on the TikTok backend. Now, number one, when it comes to TikTok ads, the most important thing is the creative. Do you have a call to action? Do the first 3 to 5 seconds engage your audience? When someone is watching your video, do they feel like you're talking to them? Is it something that compels them to keep watching, that calls them to an action to submit the form or look you up further or search your business or your name on Instagram, on TikTok, on Google, on YouTube to find out more information about you? What does that video, that creative that you created, compel them to do? So number one, when it comes to paid ads, is understand your potential lead, understand your customer, understand your client. Who do you want? And I made this mistake early by not understanding who I wanted because I was willing to take on anyone. And after taking on anyone, you realize you can't just take on anyone. There has to be criteria, qualifications, and certain standards that you are willing to work with and not willing to work with. Once you establish boundaries for what you are willing to work with, and the truth is, sometimes you won't know until you deal with certain things, right? And that's what happened with me. So I'd identify who your customer is. What is their potential revenue? What is their current revenue? What niche are they in? What industry are they in? What is their problem? What is it that you're willing to offer? Because people will offer you other services, and maybe that's a potential business opportunity or something that you have to put your foot down and say, that's a boundary that I can't cross, meaning maybe it's money left on the table, but at what cost, right? That is not my specialty. I can learn it, but that is not what I offer in my service at the moment. So tying this all together, making vague videos and videos that don't have a specific call to action or an emotion that connects with a specific audience will attract a lot of people, and you'll have to weave out and do a lot of searching, cold calling to really hone in on who these people are and if they're even your potential customer. Versus if in your video, you make compelling statements, you have good call to actions, you have good hooks, you have good solutions, case studies and examples that give people an idea of what your business is about. The people that fill out the form are your ideal customer and strong leads. So what is an actual instant form? It is a form that is on TikTok that allows the TikTok to create a form that you can swipe up on that immediately allows you to submit information such as name, phone number, email, whatever else. You can ask other questions to get more detail to make your leads and your form more qualified for when you actually do bring on a potential lead and make that call or set up an email or set up a potential meeting. You have more information about who this potential client is, who this lead is, and how you can go about communicating with them because you have more information. From my personal experience, and I have people that have told me otherwise, just based on my experience alone, I found that keeping the form as short as possible will generate 1, more leads, 2, higher quality leads, and people will, argue that, meaning if you have more questions, you would, negate certain things. I've tested high 5 to 6 question forms, and then I've also done 3 question forms. I found a good balance based on what I'm looking for, which is 4, and I'll tell you exactly the questions that I ask in my form. Number 1, what is your name? 2, what is your phone number? 3, what is your email? That allows me to know who I'm calling, it allows me to follow up, and it allows me to send contract information immediately without having to ask you for further information if things do move forward with our phone call or the sales call. The question that I'm now starting to ask is, at the end, after you fill out those first 3, because that is really quick, I give a multiple choice question. How much money is your business producing in monthly revenue? Because I found that when I was taking on many clients, I was acquiring and bringing on people that would essentially be testing, right? They want to test and they have the wrong idea of what my business is to offer them. Meaning, I want to get rich quick, essentially, right? Like they get caught up in trying to scale super fast and not understanding how businesses work. Yes, you can scale super fast, but there is a portion of sustainability. There's a portion of making sure that you have things on the back end. There is a portion of systems and operations and processes that you have to have set up so that your business will work and operate. Not just you run marketing, here's $1,000, figure it out. Okay, you spent $200 and we only got a portion of sales. I don't want to do it anymore. Let's change my business model. Let's change this. If your client is willing to change their business model, their structure, changing products is a tricky one because that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like if there's a product that is working, maybe the ad, the creative, so like certain portions are okay, but like your core foundation of what your business stands on, if they're changing their business model, what their service completely is as a whole, How they're offering is one thing. What they're offering, if they're willing to change that service completely, that's someone that's still searching. They're still trying to validate an idea. And for me personally, generally speaking, I don't like to work with that, because what will end up happening is, first, everything is your fault. I learned that from a mentor that I spoke with, and he was spot on. Everything is your fault. So make sure you put yourself in the best position to succeed for your business, your agency, but also make sure you provide a skill that you can speak on well, that you can navigate when situations do arise. So to sum everything up, keep your forms short. Name, email, phone number, and a follow-up question that is very specific to the type of person or business that you want to acquire. For me, it is, what is your monthly revenue? That gives me a good idea of if your business has a validated product or service and you want to scale to things further, you understand how businesses operate, and you have an idea that you want to continue, that you believe in, and you just want to take it to the next level. Now, when it gets to the point where leads come in, you need to call these potential leads as soon as possible. Now, this is where your CRMs come in, and they can send out immediate text messages and emails. IMA on the phone, I want to hear your voice, I want to hear your problems, I want to see what is causing certain things, I want to offer certain solutions on the phone so that you can feel heard, so that you can know that I am listening to your business, your problems, your pain points. So I try my best to call within same day typically, or same hour. It's between one of the two, just because life happens. If I can do within same hour, their mind is on it. And they call us like, yeah, I just filled that out. Oh, wow. And who am I speaking with? And they get engaged in the conversation. Same day is still very good, because yes, I do remember that. Can you call me back at this time? Or yes, I'm at a great point to talk now. Call as soon as possible. It's on their mind. They want to engage with you. That's why they filled out the form. Now, when you get to the point of closing a deal, this is something I learned, and I'll relate this to e-commerce because it's very easy to understand. With e-commerce, you have a situation where you have someone that lands on your page. They go to add to cart. They add to cart, they're at checkout, and they don't convert. It is the same exact thing in the social media marketing agency world. You have someone that fills out your form. You speak with them and get on a sales call. They agree to the terms, meaning they've added to cart, they're ready to check out. So they've agreed to the terms verbally. You send over the contract, you send over everything, and nothing happens. To combat that, get them to fill out everything on the phone when they verbally agree. If you have time and you're not in a rush, which is why it's important to make sure you have things spaced out in time and not have, dead stops at certain moments. It's okay if you do, but what happens is when they verbally agree, okay, perfect. Well, Mr. Watkins, what we want to do is we want to move forward. We love your business and we want to start today. We'll start on whatever the solution that you provided to them is, and within the next few hours, what we need to do is we'll send over a contract within the next 5 minutes. I'll do it while you're still on the phone, just in case you have any questions and you need to read over it. I'll send it over, and if you have an invoice, you'll send the invoice over and say, hey, there's a 24-hour or 48-hour deadline behind paying the invoice. We'd love to work with you, but we need to receive at least a signature on the contract, and then within the next 1 to 2 days, we need that invoice for us to fully begin working. And they'll say, okay, we need to send this over, and try your best to do it on the phone so that you will have the best opportunity and chance of closing in that moment and not leave basically a deal at checkout or in the verbal agreement stage. And if you speak with any agency owners, I promise you'll see there's a point where you get a verbal agreement, and then you have the actual signature where work starts. And there's a lot of money left in between those two spaces, and you don't want that, especially when you have people that are interested, they verbally agree, and then there's that space in between where it's, I verbally agreed, now let's actually work. So that is what I do. I run paid ads, and I can, in another video, if you'd like, I can go in detail on how I run my paid ads. It is straightforward. I create a TikTok ads account, I run a campaign for lead gen, I create an instant form, and I upload my creatives. I can show you the creatives that I create, how they are basically structured so that I engage with certain people. I can show you the numbers that I've done, meaning the cost to acquire a lead. Little details like that when it gets to more like the analytics of how I operate for leads. Because for instance, in this moment, I run a 1 week free trial. And what that means is, let me provide and show you that I'll give you value. After this week, you'll pay me the, retainer that I offer, right? So if it's $500, let's say I spend $500, I get 50 leads. In those 50 leads, I get, on the low end, 2 customers, 2 new clients. That means I would receive, at minimum, $1,000. And the reason I say at minimum is because with that, what will happen is I also have other services that I offer under my agency, whether that be video content creation, whether that be certain optimization metrics that we specifically hone in on that may not be tied to that deal, things that we want to go further on. Maybe you don't want us to just bring leads to your business, but you also want us to consult, right? You want us to close the deal for you. Then you start talking about commission based. So I'll bring in the leads. I'll also close the deal because I can communicate. I can do sales. I understand what your solution is and what your business is about. So I can sell your business just as well as you can. So allow me to do that. And all you have to worry about is the operations and the actual service or product that you have. So you start talking about more money, you compound, you start to bundle opportunities for your client, and you just create bigger opportunities for yourself. So with that being said, that is how I got my first client. It came down to offering a solution, and then everything that I spilled out from instant form to the end of providing my solution and my service to them in a very specific way. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you found value in it. I hope that you can use paid ads eventually, because it is a great way to put your service in front of a lot of businesses, or you're doing it for your clients. You're putting their instant form in front of their potential clients. Both will work great, but I wish you all the best. And if you enjoyed this video, please slap the like button, and we'll see you in the next one.